All right, here we are for our very quick conversation about what looks kind of like a sideways facing parabola on the polar coordinate plane. Here is an example of the equation that yields such a graph, r equals 2 divided by 1 minus cosine theta. At the bottom of this page are some given theta values. I've already taken those and plugged them into the equation for you. If you would like to fill in your table, if you're using the printable notes, there are those for you. You can pause and fill those in if you need to. And I would like you to do the plotting of those points on your own, aiming in the directions of those various theta values. And I also want to show you what your graph is going to look like. Let's collapse this. And no matter how far I zoom out, it seems like this graph looks the same. We don't usually get to do this quite so easily on a graphing calculator, but there is the shape that we're looking at. Now the graph, the polar graph that we have access to on our printable notes only goes out to a radius of 5. So when it comes to graphing that radius of 14.93, you're going to be well off the graph and near the right-hand margin of your paper, but try it anyway. And then if you do still need more practice with your symmetry tests, I'd like you to go through and do those in order to discover that this graph necessarily exhibits polar axis symmetry. I had to think about it for a second there because I didn't want to say it wrong. Polar axis symmetry, or it's reflected successfully over the horizontal axis. The most curious value in this table is when you plug in a theta value of 0, you get undefined, and the direction of 0 aims you right up the middle of this parabola off to the right. And since there are no points out there available to be plotted, we're seeing undefined, because really this graph, this equation is not defined where theta equals 0. What would happen if you took the theta value of 0 and just manually sort of did these calculations? The cosine of 0 is equal to 1. Your denominator is 1 minus 1, which is 0. Division by 0, that's where that undefined came from. But the reason it's happening is because there is no point in the 0 direction. All right, that was maybe the world's fastest conversation about parabolas. Thanks for hanging with me and checking that out. And now we have reached the end of our section, so I will see you in the next one.